From ancient times, perhaps the deepest longing within every human heart has been the desire for salvation, the hope of being freed from the burden of sin. We yearn for a love that transcends all wrongdoing, an unconditional acceptance that soothes the deepest wounds and restores peace to the soul. And indeed, throughout history, such a love has been revealed.
I have come
a
that they may
redemptive
have
plan
life
greater than
and
any
have it in
imagination.
abundance.
It is the
Blessed are the
supreme
meek,
sacrifice
for they
of Christ,
shall inherit the
an
earth.
act of
Do
infinite
not store
love
up for
in
yourselves
which God
treasures on
himself
earth,
bore all
where moths
suffering
and
for
vermin
us.
destroy, but
This is
store
not
up for
merely a
yourselves
story,
treasures in
but
heaven.
the divine master
Be
plan,
healed.
a testimony
faith
to
has
God's
made you
eternal
whole.
love and mercy.
It is a miracle.
From the
He has
fall of Adam
healed us.
and Eve, the world
The
was
kingdom of
plunged into
God
the
is at
darkness
hand.
of sin.
Seek first
Humanity
his kingdom
wandered
and
astray,
his righteousness,
estranged
and
from
all
holiness,
these things will be given to
burdened
you.
by fear and
Blessed
despair.
are the meek, for they will
A
inherit
vast
the earth.
chasm separated the
And I say
Creator
to you,
and His creation,
love your enemies
leaving
and pray
mankind
for those who
yearning for
persecute you.
reconciliation
But I
and
tell you,
deliverance from the
love
chains
your
of
enemies
mortality.
and pray for
Yet
those who
across the
persecute
centuries,
you, that you may
prophecies of
be
a coming
children of
Messiah
your Father
echoed,
in heaven.
a faint
True
light of
happiness
hope
is
amidst
found not in
overwhelming
wealth,
night.
but in a pure heart.
At the appointed
For those
time,
who hunger
the
and
great
thirst for
plan of
righteousness
redemption
shall
began,
indeed be filled.
a divine
Blessed are the
intervention unlike
peacemakers,
any
for
in
they will
human
be called
history.
children of God.
The Redeemer,
But I say
Jesus
to you,
Christ,
love
was
your
born
enemies
in a
and pray
humble
for those who
manger,
persecute you.
the living proof of boundless love. He grew among us, performing miracles, healing the sick, casting out demons, and teaching truth and life.
I can
Every
speak
act of Jesus
clearly
reflected
now,
perfect
and I can
obedience
walk.
and unwavering
Thank you,
resolve
Lord.
to fulfill the Father's will, ordained before time began. This was no coincidence, but a meticulously woven plan, God's blueprint for rescuing humanity from judgment. The birth of Christ remains a guiding light today, reminding us of love, hope, and
Do
the
not be
power
afraid,
of true submission
for
to
I am
God.
with you always.
After
Blessed
years
are
of
the
quiet
meek,
preparation,
for they
a
will
new light
inherit the
arose
earth.
from Galilee. Jesus began his public ministry, stirring hearts wherever he went. His words echoed through towns and villages, not
Do
mere
not be
teachings,
afraid.
but life
You are
itself.
seen.
And you
He
are
spoke
loved
with
just as
divine
you
authority,
are.
unlike
Come,
any other,
follow me,
and people
find
marveled.
peace.
He
If
not
you
only
knew the
preached,
gift of God,
but acted.
and who it is that is
Sickness
asking
fled,
for a drink,
the afflicted
you would
found
have
relief,
asked him,
and
and he
each
would give you
miracle
living
testified
water.
to divine compassion.
Consider the
On a
lilies of the
mountainside,
field, how they
he
grow.
gathered the multitudes
They
and
neither
gave the
toil nor
Sermon on the
spin.
Mount,
Yet
a
I tell you,
magnificent
even
declaration
Solomon-
of God's kingdom. It was a call to a new way of life, beyond old laws, rooted in unconditional love and humility. He taught to love one's enemies, to pray for persecutors, a revolutionary message that shattered every preconception. True
A new
happiness,
command
he
I
said,
give you.
lies not in
Love
wealth
one
or power,
another.
but in mercy,
Just as I have
purity
loved
of heart,
you,
and
you
hunger
also
for
are to-
righteousness.
Blessed are the
Even
compassionate,
today,
for they
amid
will be
division,
shown compassion.
his words remain a
And
compass
remember,
calling us
your
to
Father knows what
reconciliation
you
over
need
hatred.
before you ask him.
But his message was more than words. Through countless miracles, Jesus proved he was the awaited Messiah. The blind saw, the lame walked, the mute spoke. He brought not only physical healing, but restoration of the soul. He calmed storms and walked upon the sea. Nature itself obeyed its creator. He even called the dead to life, opening the door of eternal hope and victory over mankind's greatest fear, death itself. Each miracle was not a spectacle, but an expression of his limitless compassion. He sought out the rejected, the sinners, the forgotten, tax collectors,
Take,
prostitutes,
eat.
lepers,
This is my body,
all
which
found
is broken
acceptance
for
and
you.
tenderness in his presence.
Do this in
The story of the
remembrance me.
Samaritan woman at the well perfectly revealed
This
this grace,
is the cup of the new
breaking
covenant
social and
in my
religious
blood,
barriers to offer
which is
living
shed
water.
for you.
Through
Drink this,
parables,
all of
he
you.
unveiled the
As the Father
mysteries
has
of
loved
God's
me,
kingdom,
so have I loved you.
forgiveness, mercy,
Abide
and the
in my
Father's
love,
love.
and you shall have
In the
eternal
parable of the
life.
prodigal son, the Father's boundless love welcomes the lost home. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, compassion transcends all boundaries. These stories still echo today, reminders of love and mercy in a fractured world. The life of Jesus is the living proof of God's love for humanity, a love that counts no cost. He modeled a life filled with meaning, justice, mercy,
Father,
and unconditional love for all.
I submit to your
But
will.
such greatness also drew fierce
Let it be
opposition.
done.
The powerful feared him,
Father,
their authority shaken
let
by
your
a
will
truth
be
too
done.
radiant to ignore.
Give me strength.
Jesus, serene
and let your
yet
peace
resolute,
fill me now.
walked toward Jerusalem, fully aware of what awaited him. The holy city that once heard his teachings would now host the greatest tragedy in human history. Each step was heavy with sacrifice, yet guided by divine purpose. In an upper room, the Last Supper unfolded, a sacred, intimate moment with his disciples. He broke bread. Do this in remembrance of me, establishing a new covenant of love and forgiveness. He lifted the cup, symbolizing his blood soon to be shed for the salvation of many. Amid that sacred gathering, he foretold the betrayal to come. Judas Iscariot, driven by greed and disillusionment, sold his teacher for 30 pieces of silver, a heart overtaken by darkness. Later, in the Garden of Gethsemane, ancient olive trees bore witness to his agony. The weight of humanity's sin pressed upon him until his sweat fell like drops of blood. He prayed, "Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me." Yet he surrendered. "Not my will, but yours be done." That moment of obedience stands as a timeless lesson in faith. Even in fear, peace is found in surrendering to God's will. Then darkness fell. Judas arrived with armed men, sealing his betrayal with a kiss. Jesus, the Lamb of God, was arrested without resistance, facing injustice with divine calm. Dragged through false trials before Jewish leaders and Roman officials, he was condemned on fabricated charges. Pontius Pilate, though, knowing his innocence, yielded to the mob's rage out of cowardice and fear. Thus began the journey to the cross, a path of unimaginable suffering, but infinite love. On Golgotha's hill, the weight of the cross pressed upon his shoulders. Each hammer strike drove nails through flesh, exposing humanity's cruelty. And yet in his agony, he prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." He bore every lie, every weakness, every pain ever inflicted or endured. The sky darkened, the earth trembled, creation mourning its creator's suffering. This was no ordinary death. It was the ultimate atonement, the reconciliation between God and man. When he gave up his spirit, the temple veil tore in two, the barrier between God and humanity forever removed. His body was laid in a cold tomb. Hope seemed lost, but on the third day, the stone was rolled away. The tomb stood empty. The resurrection, the glorious triumph of love over death, granted eternal hope to all who believe. The sacrifice of Christ is not just history, it is a timeless invitation to love, forgive, and live courageously.
In this garden of purpose,
from the cross, we learn unconditional love,
eternally.
giving all without expecting return. We learn that true strength lies in selfless sacrifice, in forgiveness, in reconciliation. Through his resurrection, we find the assurance that even in our darkest hours, light will always prevail. In our divided world today, his love remains a guiding light, healing wounds, building bridges, inspiring compassion. It calls us to serve others, protect creation, and stand for truth no matter what the cost. It invites us to forgive in personal pain